So we're going to look at a poorly answered question from the states of matter topic of chemistry from a past exam. So this question is looking at a heating curve. It says a substance is heated at a constant rate and its temperature is taken every minute. During the heating, the substance undergoes one change of state. The results are shown on the graph in figure 5. Explain the shape of the graph in terms of the changes in the movement and arrangement of the particles as the substance is heated. So we're going to look at the examiner's comments for this question for the year that it was sat, to have a look at some of the common errors. So the examiner said about half the candidates scored 2 or more marks, and this is a 4-mark question, but only a few scored all 4. Despite the graph showing the melting point, many people think that by point B, so if we go back, so by point B, the solid had melted and was now a liquid. This group of candidates then erroneously thought that the line B to C represented the heating of the liquid phase and C to D the gas phase. So they're saying, so at B, this is where it melts, and then from B to C it's a liquid, and then from C to D it's a gas, okay, which this is not true. Many candidates then also missed the part of the question where the question asks for changes in the movement and the arrangement of the particles. However, many people did achieve 1 mark for the arrangement or the movement of the particles in the solid state, and 1 for the arrangement or the movement of the particles in the liquid state. Although people realised that the phase was changing from point B to C, they were not able to explain that. For the horizontal line is in fact where the change of state is happening from B to C. The temperature does not rise because all of the energy that's being put in here is being used to break the forces between the particles so that it can change state. So if we just look at some example answers here, so it says from point A to B, the solid is being heated up, and by point B, the solid reaches the melting point and becomes a liquid. At this point, the particles are more free moving as the rigid solid structure has been broken. From B to C, there is no change in temperature as the energy is being used to break the bonds as a solid. And from point C to D, the liquid is heating up at a faster rate than in the solid, meaning they're more free because they've got more energy. So the examiner's comments are saying here that they didn't score any marks because they didn't say what the particle arrangement was of the solid. They got 1 mark for talking about it moving, the energy being used to break the bonds, and then they got 1 mark for talking about the particles were more free moving from C to D, but they didn't talk about the arrangement of the particles. They just talked about them removing. They didn't say regular arrangement when it's a solid, random arrangement when it's a liquid. They vibrate on the spot as a solid but move more freely as a liquid, so they only got 2 marks. Second question then says here, they have said at point A, the particles in the substance are receiving more energy as it gets heated up, so they move around more. At point B, the substance has reached its melting point and the particles have enough energy to break their bonds. The temperature stops increasing as the supplied energy from the heating is used to break the bonds, not increase the temperature, which is correct. At point C, the thermal energy being supplied is used to increase the substance's temperature, not break the bonds, so the graph goes up again by point D. So they get 1 mark because they do explain the fact that the temperature doesn't rise between B and C because that energy is being used to break the bonds, but they don't get any marks because the question asks to talk about changes in the movement and arrangement of particles, and they have not done that. So in order to get all 4 marks, you get 1 mark for saying the graph is flat from B to C because the particles have been using the energy to break the bonds instead of increasing the temperature, and then 3 marks for the following. So any 3 from the following. The particles are in a fixed position in a solid and they vibrate on the spot more rapidly as the temperature increases. And then from C to D, the particles in the liquid are in a random arrangement and they move more as the temperature starts to increase. So again, being aware of what point B to C is, which is the change of state, and making sure that you are answering the full question. If something asks you to explain the changes in terms of movement and arrangement of particles, then you must do so.